we have gotten the okay from tech, so we're just gonna pass it directly to Enmet. Good luck on Super Metroid 100%. I've been Ballister. It's been Shadowfrost. Let's see it.
Enjoy the run.
Enjoy the run.
All right, hello everybody. Yeah, it's time for the big game. Super Metroid, Hundo. So, we're pretty much good to start right now. So, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so I'm Enmet, everybody, and joining me here, I got Osti Huvu, and I got Cristofalo. They are going to help me commentate this run, because there's a lot to say about this game. So, we're entering Ceres Station here. All saves start from 0000. They don't start from no data, because we want to skip the whole 3-minute intro sequence.
And here we can see the first boss of the game. Our well beloved Ridley. He can't actually die in this state, this place. So what you want to do is actually take damage as fast as possible to get the escape sequence triggering.
Alright, so that was Ceres Station. Not much to say about that, it's all scripted pretty much. So when you beat Ceres Ridley, you just want to escape that. So we're now going to planet Zebes, and that's where we really begin to explore and dig deeper. First up is trying to get the Morph Ball, and there's a few tricks coming up, and I think I'll leave that to Osti.
Yeah, the first trick we will be seeing is the Moonfall. That is actually a trick that was recently discovered. That, simply put, if you have Moonwalk on, which is a feature you can turn on in the game, like Michael Jackson style, and if you do a backflip while you have the Moonfall and the Moonwalk on, you actually have no vertical speed limit. So you like fall indefinitely fast. See here and in the next room. You can also see that the graphics will be messed up because you're actually going so fast down. Just passing through the old Mother Brain room, and then we take the elevator down to the blue Brinstar area where we will pick up our first item. Just 99 left.
Yes.
Prepare to hear that sound a whole bunch.
You want to explain why, Chris?
While you're collecting all 100 items, that sound will play for about 6.5 seconds, so we have about 10 minutes of item fanfare throughout the run.
Here we have the second one.
And there is your first mock ball of the game.
You know, item fanfares really aren't that bad after all. I mean, you got a lot of time to breathe and check your messages and check Tinder, for instance.
Do we have time for 2 quick ones?
Alright.
Alright, we have Lurar with $10 saying good luck on the run and don't forget Botwoon E-Tank. And we also have $20 from Anonymous saying just awesome event. I would like to also remind you that we have donation goal going on for Super Metroid. It's Fight Spore Spawn, and we're still missing $287 from the goal.
Oh dear. So that was the climb. It's quite troublesome. There are a few different ways to get up there. That was something called a behemoth climb. You could also just wall jump on the right side too.
So here we will see our second boss, or the first one that you actually kill, if you don't count the climb though. Some might have seen that you can actually escape this room before Bomb Torizo actually awakes. That is sadly a glitch that is only humanly possible on the PAL version. What we are looking for here is preferably missile drops to get the fight over as soon as possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, I entered the room without having full health, and that's a big deal because if you have full health, you will never get health drops. You'll just get missile drops, which is exactly what you need for that fight.
There you will also see like wall jumps is a major part of this game when you speedrun it. They help you save time by skipping, needing to bomb the blocks at the right side. Here you can also see a speed strat by... Normally you would maybe kill those by using missiles, but we are sacrificing some energy to save the missiles, so we do not need to depend on the drops from the crabs down here. Because we want to use the five missiles to open a door right after we get down. Here we will see a classic example of a mock ball, which is simply put, you just get into morph ball at the same time as you hit the floor, and by that you do not bounce and you keep your horizontal momentum.
Yeah, this is the first sequence break that we're doing. It allows us to skip Spore Spawn, so we can get the super missiles early.
But we want to see Spore Spawn.
Yeah, so make sure you donate to see Spore Spawn.
Yeah, Spore Spawn is usually not a part of 100%, but we can fight him if we want to, or if you guys want to, of course. So make sure to get those donations in for that donation incentive.
Oh,
Nice.
That's pretty tight.
So simply put, the mock ball allows you to keep higher horizontal velocity than the game normally allows.
So we're actually skipping that missile pack right there because we pick it up later because it's very marginally faster.
Yeah, we're getting down here again, so, and we're going to lay a power bomb, and while we wait for that, we're going to pick that missile.
So Enmet just picked up the charge, and the charge is a handy beam. it increases your damage a lot, and it actually increases the hitbox of the shot too. And it also allows us to damage all bosses later than Bomb 3 zone. So right after getting charged, we are going to get another beam upgrade. We're going to get the Spacer, which increases damage.
It also increases the width of the beam. It's not something you see in any percent typically. But since this is 100%,
We need to pick it up, and it's on the way. So why not?
Yeah, we're going to disable this for later though, so Spacer fans, you don't get to see it throughout the full run, right?
And the Cack Attack is an interesting enemy. The enemy that Enmet just killed. They drop nearly guaranteed a super as long as you don't have, as long as you're not full on supers. Sweet warehouse entrance.
See, Spacer also pretty much one-shots most of the enemies in the early game, so that's also pretty sweet. And Spacer is also known as the Sephi Beam. Fun fact.
so here we are entering Kraid's lair on our way to the first major boss of the game. There's a nice quick kill strat that Enmet's going to go for.
Uh-oh. So, if you got 30 health or below, you'll start beeping, basically. We might get health drops here, but it's fine.
So
Got it.
this boss is normally two-stage boss, where the boss actually, after you hit him a while, he actually, you see he like goes up, and you can see his lower body. And you can see, if you look at the minimap, you can see the room is a lot bigger. And by doing that strat, you kill him quickly. You're skipping the second phase, and by that saving a significant amount of time.
There's mini Kraid also. Or sometimes we call him mini Kraid because he can be pretty mean with drops. Mini Kraid really only drops super missiles, except for rare occasions where he can drop you just health, so you don't want that.
So now we're going to be making our way down to Norfair, where everything is hot and on fire, kind of.
Yeah, we get a little breather here during the elevator, but we don't get many of those moments, well, except for the item fanfares, of course. We really want to get rid of this gamer right here, or Nova, because we can't shoot the door if we don't get that guy. And a blinking door like that, you want to shoot that before you exit the room, because otherwise you'll have to kill him again before you're going out. But if you shot a blinking door, you never need to shoot the enemies in it again.
So Enmet just picked up the high jump boots, which it's pretty
High
self-explanatory.
jump?
Hi.
It's actually a really understated item. It's really useful. Jumping height is it's a big thing in this game.
Yeah, high jump boots may not seem like much. I mean, come on, it just makes you jump higher, but it's really one of the probably best items if you're a runner, because it makes everything much easier.
And here you will be able to see where like 100% needs to go out of the way to pick up an item.
Taking a quick dip in the lava there.
Oh yeah.
Cleaning the suit.
We're just going to roll across the bottom here.
And here we are approaching Bubble Mountain, where we fight the notorious King Kakatak.
That's the guy on the top.
No!
Typically, the game wants you to go down and around there. There's a series of rooms that will take you up here. But if you just wall jump up to the right there, it's very difficult, but it saves a whole lot of time.
You can see the door transition there, how the door kind of moves up to center the screen. And some door transitions are really worth fixing by jumping or mockballing, or you can fix it in multiple ways, basically. The height of the door, and the same thing goes for vertical doors, where you kind of want to fix the how much it scrolls to the sides. So that's one thing to look out for. It's actually quite a big deal because you can lose over a second just for one door, and there's a lot of doors in this game already.
That certainly adds up over time, and especially in a category like 100%.
So I'm grabbing speed booster there because we want to go fast. You could see that I was arm pumping. Okay, can I get some super drops? Super missiles? One more. Alright, we'll go with that. So I was arm pumping along the speed booster hallway there, and the reason why I did that was just not because I was bored or anything like that. It actually saves time, believe it or not. So every arm pump puts you 1 pixel forward. That's basically it. So if you're bored, you got something to do, so you can just arm pump along these hallways, stuff like that.
It seems really minor, but I think it saves about 7 seconds in this run.
Yeah, it really does add up eventually, especially for long hallways.
So now we have the wave beam, so we can shoot through walls now.
This might not have seemed like
Wave beam.
waving beam. This might not have seemed like a major thing, like a normal thing to get in this order, but no, the game actually wants you to have grapple beam to get this beam upgrade, because there are grapple blocks in the ceiling, but by just using a wall jump at the end, you can skip getting the grapple until later.
Yeah, that's one of the easier sequence breaks in this game, probably. Oops. It's because it only requires a wall jump, really. I think we'll grab a few supers.
That makes this gate also a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, you can gate glitch by basically hitting the gate from the other side with a missile or a super, but because we have wave beam, it's really intended that you can shoot it through the other side.
Do we have a second for a quick donation?
Yeah, sure.
We have $20 from Zephyr saying, let's see that spore spawn. If you also want to see the spore spawn, make sure to donate to the incentive. We're still missing $262, so get those donations in.
So this is Crocomire. Oh, please, Croc. So, this is pretty much... Crocomire can't... You can't really kill Crocomire, I guess, directly. He's just going to step back.
But when he steps far enough,
Look at this poor fella here.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Croc. It's really a simple fight. If you shoot one missile, he'll walk 1 step back. If you shoot a super missile, he'll walk 3 steps back. And it's... If you do shot with this beam combo, he'll walk 2 steps back. So you basically kind of just wait for him to... Usually with shots, shoot, and wait for him to walk 2 steps back, and then go on like that. And here he is getting his revenge, so we're going to be... Watch out for that. Peekaboo!
There is more.
You maybe saw that there were a few drops there after Croc. Unfortunately, they spawned too high up.
Now we have power bombs, which are just powerful bombs.
Oh yeah, the cheeseburgers.
So, in comparison to any percent, you actually pick up different power bombs for your first power bomb pickup.
Ooh.
This good old grappling beam.
Tickle beam.
Oh yeah. You'll see that being used right here. The Indiana Jones strat is what that's called. That's pretty convenient. It's also pretty tight, so
Yeah, grapple beam. The physics on it are really tough. So that looks. He just made it look really easy, but that's actually a really tough trick to get.
And you can also see that the intended way after you pick up grapple is actually to go up in the grapple room and go another way out. But because of those like learning you to use grapple is so slow, we are actually going the reverse way and actually going up backwards to save time and pick up this item. Farming.
drops are pretty important in this part. I'm basically at every drop point or farming point, I'm just waiting to get enough super missiles. So I got 5 now, which is the max, and we're going to keep that for, well, pretty much until wrecked ship. So you're really low in supers until then.
So we're leaving the heated Norfair and going to make our way to the wrecked ship where the fun starts.
Oh yeah. So wrecked ship is probably where... Wrecked ship is probably the only scary part in 100%. It's actually you can actually die in 100%. That's actually true. But after that, we won't really see much of a risk being taken, except for a few rare occasions, I suppose.
Yeah, and what you can see there was when you get the speed booster, you can actually store up a spark called a shine spark, and you can execute it with a slight delay after. But when you shine spark, you're actually using up energy, so it's a trade-off between speed and energy. And in some instances, the crash animation at the end, when you hit something, is actually pretty long. So in some instances, it's not even faster.
Yeah, it's for the longest time, this run had a lot of shine sparks in it, but some of it has been replaced by just pure platforming, because shine sparking can be pretty slow actually, if you count the crash animation that comes after and stuff like that. And it's also, like this room, it's a very convenient way of getting rid of your enemies, because shine sparking does a lot of damage to the enemies that it can actually do damage to.
And in 100%, it's worth to know that we are actually going to cross the moat in the intended way using grapple beam.
Yeah, normally you would see a shine spark across here, but if you have grapple beam, it's really about just as fast to use that method.
Also saves you quite a bit of energy.
Yeah. So I'm turning off Spacer right now because I want the charge and wave beam combo. And you'll see why in a moment. But basically, this game has some hidden beam combinations, charge beam combinations that you can use. One of them is called the X Factor, which is what I'm setting up for. If you select power bombs and hold charge, then after 3 seconds a beam combo will activate. So I think it's about 3 seconds. So now we're heading down to Fantoon or Funtoon. He's usually known as Fungineer Toon.
If you've ever watched a run for this game, you know that this boss is notoriously difficult, and Enmet's got to be super careful here because his energy is kind of low.
This is also one of the bosses you do not want to use supers except for the last hit, because it enrages the boss.
Alright, so he's got 3 patterns basically. Fast, slow, and mid. Oops. I missed that one. Obviously you want to get the fast patterns as much as possible, but he won't grant that. Usually it's just slow patterns. Oh dear. Oh wow.
So there's your special beam combo that Enmet was talking about earlier, but unfortunately when you activate it and it doesn't hit anything, you can't shoot.
Plan B.
You can actually notice that Enmet is actually pointing at specific spots because of Fantoon actually has fixed location where it opens his eye. Nice.
Alright, so that was how many rounds?
4 or 5?
But he's dead now, so I guess hype.
It's not over yet, though. Enmet has to go through the spiky death room, which is probably the last point that you can realistically die in 100%. The reason is that it's called that is because there's spikes that will kill you very quickly.
Yeah, so Fantoon isn't actually the scary part of the wrecked ship. It's really what comes after. But luckily we're on our way to reach an E-tank. So we'll get a refill there. We just gotta make it to that point.
So now we are actually picking up our second super missile pack. And third. The reason why the spiky death room is so deadly is you'll see it quite soon, but the moving platforms from the ceiling actually damage you 100 energy on each hit.
Yeah, and the game expects you to have gravity suit at this point, which lets you move through water very easily, but without it, it's quite difficult. But Enmet made it through just fine.
Easy peasy.
Oh. Almost too soon there. Grapple beam is pretty precise for when exactly you should release it, so it can be a little bit scary if you release it too soon. Alright, so second spiky visit. I want to really conserve my health as much as possible, because we're going to do a trick later on that requires a very long shine spark, and for that we need health. So I try to set up, this room is called the attic. It's a pretty infamous room because it's quite difficult to navigate through. I tried to set it up by doing a strat called the ballistic strat, and unfortunately that didn't really work out. I managed to press select one too many times. You won't really want to use super missiles or supers and missiles throughout that entire room and just shoot all of them. But you also don't want to use all the super missiles because we're going to need a few of them.
Could we get a status update on the spore spawn incentive?
What?
The cutoff is not yet anyway, but what is the status?
Yeah.
Do we have a second for a quick reminder?
Yeah.
Just a quick reminder that we are still missing $262 from the Fight Spore Spawn donation goal. And if you want to see the Fight Spore Spawn, you better get your donation quick. If you have if you have $262 lying around somewhere, that'll be the best moment to make a donation.
Alright, so I used one too many supers in the attic, which means that I will have to go down here and farm that. There's a super block here. So now we are on our way to Gravity Suit, which is coming up soon. And this is a good time to breathe, that's one thing, but you can also check Tinder, like the Tinder man here.
Well known for his Tinder checking.
Do you know the Tinder man, the Tinder man?
Yeah, this gives you about 40 seconds to just relax. It's
Yeah.
a nice room.
Definitely.
It's also probably a good time for a quick donation, right?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
We have $40 from Anonymous saying, let's get that 50k guys, come on.
50k hype! Alright, so we got some more of these robots. The robots are a little bit finicky to deal with. Luckily, this room isn't quite as bad as the previous one with the robots. Basically just getting that reserve tank with a intended shine spark way of getting out. This gravity suit.
Purple suit that makes us able to move in water without getting slowed down.
So we're on our way back to Criteria. We're going to do some cleanup This is probably the first part of the, I guess you could say, item cleanup in the game. So we're going to get a few items, and first off is criteria. There'll be a few things coming up here. One is a section called the Gauntlet, but we're going to set up for that first with a really long Shine Spark, probably the longest Shine Spark in the game.
You will be able to see a trick right now, which is called the wraparound shot, which enables you to open a door on the other side.
There we go.
Got it.
The timing, or the location for that is actually pixel perfect, I believe. So the fact that he was able to get it first try is really impressive.
So there's you can set that up with a few beam combinations. The way that works basically is that every room in the game has a copy of itself at the top right. You can think of it as parallel universes, I believe. And that way we could reach the left door by shooting on the right side of the screen. You don't want to fall down on one of the sides because you can do that, and that way you have to walk all the way through to get the other missile pack, so you want to be really careful there. Shoutouts to Stray Varus, by the way.
So now we will actually be heading back to Brinstar again to do some cleanup.
Alright, how's the Spore Spawn incentive looking?
Right now we're still missing $237, and we've just gotten 2 new donations, one from Anonymous with $10 saying best speedrunning game ever, cannot not donate. Go Enmet, kill off them spores, shout out to Odds and Ghosts also, save them kids. And also another one from Anonymous with $15. Thank you very much for your donations.
Alright, so we're currently cleaning up Green Brinstar, and it's really just a lot of platforming that's coming up here.
Can I just take a second here?
Sure.
We've got a $262 donation from Luna Manor
Yeah, way to go, way to
saying,
go.
"Weed the garden, Enmet."
Thank you. So that you could see the animals there, the Iricoons at least. The decor is in a different room. They're singing the item fanfare. So technically there's 101 item fanfares, not 100. Alright, how's the incentive looking now?
It's met, and we also have 2 more donations, both from Humble Greek saying Borger, both with $5. Thank you very much.
Alright, way to go. So this means that we're fighting this guy. If I can actually get there. So conveniently, he is hiding a super missile pack. Usually you don't need to actually visit Spore Spawn to get those super missile packs. You can kind of sneak through his back door because it appears to be open. Anyway, this fight is kind of weird because you got his shell here basically. Oh dear, I missed the super missile. So, I try to get 2 super missiles in. Spore Spawn has 950 health. And you ideally want to kill him within 2 rounds. For that to be possible, you need to get 2 supers in on the first round so that you deal 600 damage. Then you can do a missile super on the next one. Alright, I guess we're seeing more of this guy than I expected, so... enjoy.
Yeah, there's really no category that fights Spore Spawn except map completion and obviously Spore Spawn RTA, so...
An ESA exclusive with Hondo and Spore Spawn.
This would have been a little bit faster if I had more super missiles, so... that's probably a good point and a good lesson to myself that you want to conserve those super missiles. Alright, there we go.
So, since we're actually doing the Spore Spawn, we will actually see the longest moonfall in the game. Coming up right here.
Alright, we got it. Yeah, that moonfall is pretty tight to set up for. You need to kind of quick drop through those crumble blocks before you can actually do the fall. So conveniently, Spore Spawn had those super missiles that we wanted. So we're barely just going the wrong way, you could say. We just had a nice quick detour.
Could I fit a quick reminder in there?
Yeah, sure.
We're currently at $49,014, which means we need 986 more to get fit to 50k, and all your donations up to 50k, $50,000 will be matched. That means when we finally get the 50k, we will actually be at $100,000.
Yo. Let's reach that 50k, everybody.
So there's that missile pack from earlier that we skipped.
And we're getting really a lot of E-tanks here, which is quite convenient. We're really buffed up for the remainder of the run, so that's pretty neat. Getting those E-tanks pretty early on. That's one of the reasons why you don't really tend to die in 100% a lot. You got so many E-tanks that you gotta try to die if you really want to do it. Of course, it can still happen with a few rare occasions, but I won't jinx myself, so let's not go into that right now.
So Enmet just laid a power bomb, seemingly in the middle of the room. There's actually a power bomb door in the top right that you can't really see, but we'll be getting to it later. Saves a little bit of time to open it now as opposed to later.
Alright, Red Tower again. And after Red Tower, we are going to Meridia, which is, in my opinion, the hardest segment in the game. A lot of tricky platforming, plenty of short charging, and it's just a pretty tricky area. Some pretty major difficult tricks coming up as well. That's one.
We're entering the Mama Turtle room and saying hi to Mama Turtle.
This is one of those missile packs where if you play this game for the first time, you probably wouldn't have found that one. Randomly placed in a wall up high, so some of the items are... you don't really know why they are there.
Anyone want to go to a trip to the beach?
So we're coming up on the Meridia beach. There's a nice strat here called the beach ball.
Yeah, it's coming up when we're returning from the missile and the super pack, which is coming up soon. But yeah, this is Meridia Beach, and there were a lot of new names for pretty much each room and each item in this section that are just great. And my favorite is, well, you have the Meridia Beach, and then there's a mock ball you can do, which is the Meridia Beach ball. So we're probably pretty good off with super missiles at this point. I want to have at least 7 super missiles, 6 for Botwoon, and then a few super missiles for the doors that are coming up. Got it. The beach ball.
So the next boss we will see is actually Botwoon, a sneaky snake. What is nice about him is that he always appears in the same hole at the start of the fight.
Botwoon isn't particularly challenging, but he has a really ugly hitbox, so he's really challenging to do quickly. Got a 1 round there.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Yeah, it can be pretty scary to do because it's weird hitbox. But we got a 1 round, so that's really good.
We're coming up on another strat here called the full halfie. Allows us to shine spark across this room here. It saves a ton of time. Nicely done.
Yeah, the setup wasn't looking too good for that one. So.
I believe that trick saves about 12 seconds, which is pretty significant in a run like this.
It's a pretty big time saver, and obviously really convenient as well, because once you've done the shine spark, you can just drop the controller for a second. The other strats in the room require some platforming. Alright, so Draygon, everybody. Draygon probably is in some senses, one of the worst bosses in the game. Swoop City, Swoop City. Just keeps on swooping. Oh,
Nice.
alright.
Draygon is unique because she is the only boss that takes damage from speed booster, or shine sparking, rather.
Yeah, so you want to kill Draygon with a Shine Spark, basically, and that way you can get a blue suit. Blue suit is basically a glitch state where you're stuck in one of the speed booster states. So we can have a Shine Spark on demand, pretty much. And that's going to be really convenient in a moment.
Now we're gonna cross back the same room we did the full halfie by doing a return spark instead and saving quite a bit of time.
Do we have a moment for 2 quick ones?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, we have Fisk with $25 saying I'm saving children, and Anonymous with $10 with no comment. Thank you very much for your donations.
So now we're basically in the Meridia cleanup phase of this run. I'm going to get these not so conveniently placed items, and there's a lot of sand pits and stuff going on.
You can see something interesting while Enmet was like falling down the sand pit. By morphing and unmorphing continuously while you're falling down, you actually falls down faster.
Yeah, morphing and unmorphing really saves some time by falling down a little bit quicker. So there's not a lot of, I guess, the general movement that's random at all. Much like arm pumping, it's done for a reason. And you also have the morph and unmorph during the sand pit.
So we will be we're making our way to Springball and see our all favorite, wouldn't say enemy of the game, I would say like NPC of the game, Shaq Tool.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Shaq Fu. This is Shaq 2. And he's just the best. I mean, if anyone wants to save the animals, it should be this guy, you know. This guy and Mama Turtle, we can save those two. I mean, come on, he's helping you get this item. Why should you not save him? Return the favor. This is also a good area to play around a little bit. Practice your short charging, but don't let that off, the Shine Spark. You could potentially kill Shaq 2. And then you'd have to reload the room and wait for him to break those sand blocks all over again.
Springball.
Yeah, Springbolt is the best item of the game.
It allows you to jump in morph ball form.
Bye, Shaq 2. And obviously, since we got Space Jump after Draygon, we can basically double jump, but triple jump, and then jump for infinity, basically. Both in the air and in the water. It's a little bit easier to do in the air, because the cooldown is bigger. It's a little bit easier to do in the water, because the cooldown is bigger in the air. Now we're getting the plasma beam.
Best beam of the game.
Individually, the strongest beam in the game allows us to shoot through enemies and gives us a pretty significant damage boost.
Would it be a good moment for a double?
Sure.
Okay, we have Simon with $15 saying let's get to 50k. And also an anonymous with $15 saying this game is one of my favorites to watch. Good luck on the run, Enmet.
Right, so plasma beam, just like wave beam goes through walls, but it can only reach one enemy at a time, and then it basically, the enemy kind of soaks up the beam. But plasma beam goes through most enemies.
And it can even hit multiple times if the enemy doesn't die in the first hit.
Alright, we're not missing this one. Shout out to Luren.
Thank you.
Usually in any percent we would get that E-tank much earlier. So we do a few revisits, but you can't miss that. It has happened. Oh. I'm gonna do a pretty difficult... Yeah, if I can get the setup. Alright, spring ball strike coming up.
So.
Got it.
Sweet.
So that's why spring ball is so great. Not only is it a way to get to the items faster, it also looks really, really good when you do it. So here's another sandpit. Let's get that jabroni shot.
Then that was also a location where the spring ball is very useful because there's crumble blocks. But if you have spring ball and hold the jump button, when you roll onto the crumble blocks, you will always jump before they crumble. So you will not fall down.
Yeah, so that's actually a very neat thing. Spring ball can be used as a safe strat just because you can buffer jumps and you don't need to time jumps if there's a crumble block, for instance. Alright, that was Meridia.
So now we're going to go back to Kraid's lair. There's a hidden missile pack in there that we can now access because we have power bombs.
Yeah, unfortunately we need the power bombs to get this item. So there's one of the more annoying backtracking routes in this category. There are a few different routes. One where you start off getting the red tower power bombs first, and that way you don't need to backtrack back to Kraid's lair. But it's about just around. It takes around the same time, so whatever you prefer in that case.
Now we will heading down to the heated areas of Norfair. So
Yeah, and we're getting the ice beam.
ice cold.
If you were playing this casually, you'd typically grab the ice beam a lot sooner, but we gotta go fast, so we skip it and grab it now.
Yeah, it's mostly because of the beam combos that you want, and if you picked ice early, you would just have to disable it for the X factors that were coming up in the run.
And menuing actually takes a bit of time. Now we will actually be heading the intended way down to Kraid.
But we're not quite going to Krokmar this time, because we're done with that area. But we're going through his speedway. Which is really... They're basically... If this was any percent, this would be one of the ways down to Lower Norfair, but because we have to get that missile pack, we really need to go this way around. And again, Spring Ball being very useful.
Could I squeeze in a quick donation?
Sure.
We have Anonymous with $5 saying, Metroid is my favorite Nintendo character.
And this room is easy peasy while you have both the gravity suit and the space jump.
So now we're coming up on Lower Norfair, where we're going to go fight Ridley. We saw earlier in Ceres Station.
First, we're gonna have a little quick stop at the little second boss of the game. Just turned golden.
Yeah, but it's not this guy.
No, not this one.
This guy is just being helpful.
And we actually have to go the intended way to Golden Chorizo because he has a missile which is blocked by crumble blocks. So we have to approach from this direction. Here is also a place where the spring ball is handy because you won't fall down. And there is a pretty long detour if you have to go all the way around. Hey, hey.
So that's Gordon Chorizo.
You can just stand there and shoot him and he won't hit you. It's pretty easy.
Uh-oh. I tried to set up for a little faster fight there, but unfortunately I didn't get it. You can do damage by pseudo screw attacking. Basically, if you spin jump, I'm gonna get these drops. If you spin jump while you have a charge shot, you can jump through a lot of enemies by it's kind of one at a time, but you can also do it to some bosses as well. And the setup for that gets you can kill Golden Chorizo with one less charge shot. Saves a little bit of time. And shout outs to Static 9, by the way.
So now we have screw attack, which allows us to just jump through enemies and blocks. Makes the game quite easy from this point on. I wouldn't say easy, but easier.
This room is also known as the worst room in the game. But since we have the screw attack, the space jump, makes it a lot easier.
That's the Mickey Mouse missiles. Look at the shape of that room.
So even this, since this is lower Norfair and the most enemies deals a lot of damage, Since we both have a lot of energy, we have screw attack that makes this segment not as dangerous as it normally would have been.
Yeah, and you could probably see there that I kind of ran through the guy. If you shoot an enemy with plasma beam, some enemies you can just run through at that point. It's basically the invincibility frames. You kind of benefit from that enemy's invincibility frames as well. But that only works for plasma beam.
Do we have a second for a donation or two?
We got a boss fight coming up, so in a moment. And this is the guy from the beginning, pretty much. You'll all recognize him. That's Ridley.
And by using charged plasma, ice, and wave shot, you actually deals 900 damage to Ridley each shot. That makes the fight a lot faster.
Should be dead. There we go.
There.
So it's actually a pretty good fight. Alright, you can read the messages, if there were any.
We have a $10 donation from LP Inoino without a comment. Thank you very much. We have a $30 donation from Anonymous saying, if everyone just do their part, we can reach that 50k. Thank you for your donation, we surely can. And we also have $50 from Marco Radat saying, hey guys, we hope to help with this small amount. Thanks for the great speedrunners and everyone behind the scenes. Greetings from Germany.
Alright, so since we killed Ridley and stole his Z-Tank, we are pretty much entering the... Oh, what? We're entering the cleanup stage of the run, I guess. There's no bosses left to fight, except for Mudbrain, of course. We'll get to that in a moment, but right now there's a lot of cleanup going on. Getting all those remaining items. Fun fact, you can deboost off this Fire Flea right here. Whoop, there we go, oops. Is that guy as a platform? It's pretty dark if you kill too many of these fireflies, so you don't really want to do that. I was a little bit too late. I tried to set up for a trick called a Hoda Ruby special, named after the legendary Super Metroid runner Hoda Ruby. It's basically a springball strat there where you kind of, if you do it correctly, you can grab the missile pack and get through that maze in one move. Here's a room that looks like Frank Sea.
There you can see the plasma being getting used again to clip through the enemies without taking damage. or slowing down.
Yeah, you could kill those with screw attack as well, but it's really just faster to run through and shoot them. That D-boost is called the Leap of Faith. It's pretty convenient to get across. So yeah, we're back to Norfair and Bubble Mountain.
So you can see at multiple places where Enmet is actually taking damage to get a boost, literally a damage boost. They can be quite tricky to get because it actually depends on your controller input and where on the enemy you actually hit them.
Yeah, so a damage boost is really only a 4-frame window, which is a lot for a speedrunner, of course. But it can still be pretty tight, and you gotta kind of figure out where exactly you're hitting it. And also, spikes they have a different duration for, or a different window for D-boosts. So those are a little bit easier usually.
So now we're done with Norfair. We will be heading. We are currently in Brinstar. We're gonna pick up. I will say the most broken item in the game, the X-ray.
Yeah, you may or may not have noticed that we actually haven't picked up X-ray yet, but we're going to. It's not a very useful item in no major glitches, but there we go. It's usually just in the way because sometimes you want to do item select really fast across. And the problem with X-ray is that it's activated on the run button. So if you select X-ray, you'll do a dead stop. And obviously when you want to keep your momentum, that gets pretty annoying.
X-ray is quite useful for other categories though, as it kind of just lets you walk through walls or climb through walls. But we're not going to see that in this category, unfortunately.
Oops.
So yeah, now we're back to one of the earliest areas we were in, the blue Brinstar area. We're gonna pick up a few items which we were unable to do earlier on due to them being locked in by either needing high jump or a deboost or needing the power bombs.
Yeah, this is Metroid 1 runners will recognize some of these runes, but not all of them.
So we're coming up on the, it's known as the Belly Maze room because there's one missile pack, but wait, there's more.
There it is. A special offer. Right now. And this room is pretty funny too, because, you know, there's an invisible bridge here. And that's the John Cena bridge, because you can't see me. And then there's the rock falling off the ceiling there, which I think I got hit by.
So now we're actually done with Brinstar, and we will be heading back up to Criteria, the first area on Seeps, and we will be picking up a few items.
Yeah, you could probably see that I'm storing this Shine Spark through the elevator. The Shine Spark timer doesn't actually run when you're in the elevator, so you can store that for an upcoming room after the elevator, and that's one of them. This is a pretty precise shot. Oh, didn't get it. You can get all of those in the same shot and still keep your speed. Alright, we only have one item left to pick up, so for those of you who are tired of the endless item fanfaring, don't worry, it's soon over.
Do we have a second for a double?
Sure.
Okay, we have $10 from Hetchinsky saying, normally I would have to save some money, but this is for a good cause. Let's hit the 50k. We can do it. Less than 3. We also have $20 from Aeho, one of my favorite game of all times. Great run so far and nice commentary. Good luck on the run, Enmet, and keep up the good work. PS, yes, I stay hydrated as requested. Thank you very much for your donations.
Thank you. Alright, so that missile pack was the last missile pack in the game. Last item. So, hundo fundo. And fun fact, that missile pack, because the max amount of missiles you can pick up is 230, that missile pack is called the cavity missiles because tooth hurty. So yeah, there are a lot of names for each item in this game, and for a game that has so many missile packs, for instance, it's quite amazing to even remember where they are to begin with, but also all the names for them. So, yeah, Tourian. Just waiting for this golden statue here to become something else, I guess. Lead. It was just fakery all along. Mother Brain pretending to be rich.
Fake gold.
Mother Brain has no gold splits. Not in Tourian. Tourian is hard. And we'll start off by doing some pretty movement-heavy stuff here with the Metroids. So I'm gonna need some Fungineer time for this.
This is rooms that might look easy and super fast. And yeah, they are super fast. But they are certainly not easy.
Oh no! I need super missiles!
Rob. For those who knows the any percent,
Alright,
this would be a place where the super count is really important, but because we have so many missiles, the super count doesn't really matter for being able to complete the run.
Yeah, although I pretty much ran out of supers, it's still fine because I got my missiles. But I wanted to collect some supers in the last Metroid room there, just to make some of the doors faster. Alright, so this is a scripted sequence here. The baby Metroid is going to get you. Hopefully we can get the skip, so let's try it. There we go.
If you let the Metroid grab onto you, it drains you of all your health, and you have to go refill it in that room over there. It costs a ton of time.
Yeah, especially in 100% when you have so much energy. It's like slowly watching that drain.
This is a trick called the Seb skip.
Let's try it again.
Casually, you are supposed to destroy all the septites, but you can actually glitch through the first septite, and there's actually only one set of septites in the entire room, which actually just moved. So when you glitch through the first one, there is no one else there.
Yeah, for some reason they just despawn entirely. I try to do a down-back step skip, which is a little bit tricky to do. If you have screw attack, you can't quite do it the same way because you'll break the rinkers there that you need. And so I have to turn screw attack off and do the easier method. Alright, welcome to Mother Brain's fast food restaurant. We're serving onion rings, french fries. What else do we have? Well, Mother Brain herself is pretty much a chicken. There's the meatball. Yeah, more onion rings, french fries.
We also got some ketchup upcoming. There's the
There.
ketchup.
Yeah, there it is.
Gotta have some spicy on the top.
Taste the rainbow. So, right now we're doing something called a stand-up glitch. If you have more than 7 E-tanks, you can just start moving once the first sequence, the first rainbow sequence is done, or the Kappa Pride beam, if you prefer to call it that way. And then you can basically just jump when the next sequence is supposed to be activated. And that way we can damage Mother Brain instead of just doing nothing during this long cutscene. Baby thump. Alright, there she goes. So normally during this third phase here, with the Samus theme going on, we would require a lot of shots, but because we did the stand-up, it was just a few shots there, like 3 shots. And now we're finally leaving CB's. It was a great visit, but we gotta go pretty fast because our plane is about to leave, so... Also the planet is about to blow up. Let's get one final moonfall. There we go.
Skipping the animals, always the correct choice.
Don't save the animals. Fusion never happened. Alright,
Time.
thank you. Yeah, so that was Super Metroid, and hopefully after the credits we'll see the item counter. Hopefully it says 100% and not 99%, or even worse, 98%. Or as one of the top runners in this game once got 96%. I don't understand how that happened, but yeah. You can easily miss an item, especially if you run different categories, like any percent, and you got your muscle memory, so you just skip a lot of stuff. But I think we should be there. So yeah, I guess during the credits here I can take a moment to give a few shoutouts to, first off, a big shout out to the Super Metroid community. It's perhaps one of the largest speedrun communities out there, and there's a lot of friendly people that will help you get started to run this if you're interested. We have a Discord server, we have a speedrun.com page, and we have the Legacy Deer tier leaderboard. So there's a ton of resources where you can learn how to run this, and if you generally just want to learn more. Also, would like to thank my co-commentators here, Christoffel and Ostihuvel. Come on, let's give them a round of applause, everybody. So yeah, 100% in particular it's pretty movement heavy. Many of the other categories, just look at any percent, you're usually likely to die. That's a big problem. But in 100% it's more oriented to movement. So you're not likely to die in 100%, but you're just losing time basically. So it's a good category to do if you're just looking to finish runs. And it's, even if you get bad RNG, you usually have enough ammunition anyway to finish at least. And yeah, it's just a cool category, and I really recommend it to pretty much anyone. Maybe not if you want to sit through 11 minutes of item fanfares, but you'll get used to it. I promise.
I want to give a thanks to everybody who made it possible for us to see and experience Spore Spawn.
Dear Force.
Dear Force.
Yeah, we got to see Spore Spawn, so you guys made that possible. Let's give them a round of applause for that. Hando Fundo. Alright. Thank you everyone for watching.